As a fan of Falling in Reverse, I decided to make a video about their full album discography a month ago, and finally, they finished their Popular Monster album. It's a product that seemed incredibly promising to me due to the songs we've already been shown like Zombified, Popular Monster itself, Ronald, and Watch the World Burn. Songs that I really like and consistently have been bumping for a long time, so of course I was excited to hear it. But it was, alright, politics! Okay. Before anything even starts, the album is very political as Ronnie speaks about what he personally believes in and advocates for, which in short is super anti-woke and very pro-free speech. It's also a lot about how people get outraged about what he says openly and what he believes in. As someone who agrees with a lot of what's being pushed in songs like Zombified and No Fear, I'm of course gonna be like, hell yeah brother, speak your truth, when I hear lines like, oh no, they'll never let go of something you said 10 years ago, they're canceling you! But to me, politics aren't important, and makes it more difficult to actually talk about the album's lyrical quality, as for a ton of the songs, you liking them nearly fully depends on if you agree with the messages they're pulling. I meant to say pushing, okay? I meant to say pushing. Politics really complicate things. How to review something based purely on messages that you agree with? Impossible, right? I'd be biased if I either find Radke's words stupid and corny due to me disagreeing, or if I was still me. I say this because it's important to clarify the fact that I am definitely biased to like this album more because it's saying a lot of things that I find to be based. And even though this is an inherently political album, since a song's literally called Trigger Warning, I don't want to see any retarded hate for others in the comments because we may believe different things are based, or assumptions for how I stand for certain things based on how I feel about Ronnie's message in some songs. You don't know me. If you do that, or if you're the kind of guy who gets really angry about me saying retard, then I'll ignore you. Retard. On to the review. Instrumentals. No, not gonna say instrumentals. Falling in Reverse is widely seen as a bad band, and even in my own review as a fan, I gave them an overall score of 2.3 out of 5, but one thing that nobody can lie about is the fact that they have great instrumentals overall. Ronnie's band is incredibly skilled and great at creating energetic, catchy tunes, and this is no different for this album. In fact, I would say that they've actually improved and went into a different direction, as Ronnie basically does whatever he wants, from songs that are country like All My Life, metal like Ronald, and he even comes back to trying rap with songs like No Fear and Watch the World Burn. And the crazy thing is that he does it really well for the most part. Songs just transition perfectly, going from All My Life, a pretty laid-back, fun country song that seriously grew on me a lot, to Ronald, a really hard metal song, doesn't feel crazy. Extreme standouts are songs that do totally different things from what Ronnie's known for, like in Zombified or Bad Guy, as Bad Guy mixes this simple, fashionably late-era-esque rap beat with the naturally amazing drums and guitars that the band's known for. And Zombified is easily one of the most recognizable catchy tunes I've ever heard. Ronnie talks about himself and politics on Popular Monster, and he's never scared to do so. I believe that more interesting subjects could have been chosen, like more about himself and his own life experiences, as he had a crazy life, but I suppose that he did do that in Coming Home a little bit. So first, how well does he do when it comes to talking about himself? Well, unlike Coming Home self-reflection, this time it's more so just talking about how he's a very openly opinionated, honest guy, and how he prioritizes things that make sense to him over others' feelings. And while I think that that is based, I also believe that it's overdone in the album. At some point, Ronnie talking about how controversial he is and how he's beating the system or triggering randoms online just by existing kind of gets played out. I would say that I began feeling this by Bad Guy, and every time afterwards it's overdone. It's very difficult to make talking about how controversial of an artist you are interesting if you do it like 4 times in one album, even if it's 100% true in this case, and even if that's the point of the album, as it's called Popular Monster in reference to Radke himself. At some point I feel, okay Ronnie, I get it. I mean, even as a fan I already know that you're controversial, so you don't have to say it this many times. How about politically? Does he portray his own political opinions in a good way through his music? And well, yeah. I think he does a pretty good job with talking about subjects like cancellation and Zombified, or how No Fear talks about how you can't openly question some subjects, we all know what subjects, without being seen as a bad person, for 2 examples. It's some of the best political stuff I've heard, though there's not much great competition, as the people who are closer to Ronnie's side are Tex and fucking Tom McDonald. I need to have a specific section for my main issue with the album, the fact that it's repetitive. Politics, even ones that you agree with, and talking about yourself aren't very fun subjects to re-listen to a few times, and this hurts the quality of the album. I'm a fan who loves to re-listen to albums of all kinds. I5, U5, We5, Shafts of Light, Before Sunset, 21 Pilots, The Way, and so many more projects I love to go through over and over again because of their lyrical content and stories in 21 Pilots and Before Sunset, or because of their powerful aura like The Way, Shafts of Light, and I5. Things like that are way more interesting to go through again, and all of these are timeless albums to me. But a project like this, after a few re-listens, you'll eventually be like, yeah, bass, whatever, I get it. Unlike their previous works like Coming Home or The Drug in Me Is You, where the point of them was to have fun and be really energetic, this one stays energetic but gets rid of the fun part aside from All My Life. We talk about serious subjects like cancellation or media lies, or we talk about Radke himself. There's no good balance here, and this is why I think that this album is just alright. Its replay value is worse than anything else I've heard easily. I would say that Falling in Reverse did alright with this one. It's not their best now that it's all put together, that still goes to Coming Home, but it does have some of their best songs ever on it, like Zombified and Popular Monster. The album sort of feels like a playlist of different songs Falling in Reverse made instead of a real album, since so many of the songs were already public, and the ones that are new aren't as great as the ones that we already had. But what would I rate this album? A 3 out of 5. Songs here work far better as singles, and when put in an album format, it feels wrong despite a lot of the songs' high quality. Definitely subscribe since I'm making a bigger music tier list video on Opium's discography soon, and I'll see you guys in a future video hopefully. And if you did not watch my previous Falling in Reverse video, certainly go do that. I literally review every single one of their albums.